First off, thank you all. It was a great experience to have it in the theater with you. So thank you very much for coming.
A big round of applause for Creative Studios. This is a huge thing here, and amazing to have the cast here and the crew here, and a fantastic premiere. Congratulations, Adam.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys.
And really a big round of applause for the man of the hour, Adam Steigert. If you don't know much about Adam, he's produced 9 feature films. This is number 9, and he's done 16 horror films in general. So that includes shorts. So he's the co-founder of 388 Studios, and he's made the Buffalo Film Extras Facebook page, which is where a lot of people meet a lot of producers and get on a lot of films. He's been running that for years. And he's the husband and producer and casting director, Adam Steigert. He's considered a magician for his thrifty special effects and storytelling techniques. He's been featured in books, newspapers, podcasts, various interviews. And closest to me, he's been judging the Buffalo 48-Hour Film Project as a reoccurring judge for a few years now. So, congratulations again, and a big round of applause for Adam. Do you have more to say, or do you want me to get into the question?
Go right in for it, man. They're waiting for it.
All right, well, here we are. So, first, Adam.
Oh.
You're on first.
All right.
What's it like writing something like this?
Well, this film, for those that have followed my work, or our work, I should say, there's kind of been a series of films that kind of contribute to this project. So you don't need to see this film to see those films, but this film is kind of like a combination of all that hard work we've done for so many years underneath various different operations and such, and it's an homage to that. So basically the writing process is that we've always wanted to get to this film, but we needed a couple projects in between. That's why there are films Grim Becoming, Omnis Alien Invasion, Prisoners of the Dead. Those are all films that revolve around in our same universe. I didn't even mention Fang, and I'm not going to mention Star. But those are films that are all out there, and they're part of the universe. So writing this one was, I wanted to write a story with Kristen, of course, and we were trying to figure out what we would write. And for me, it was, I think the right phrase is inebriation, right? When you're yes. We spent a weekend away with no cell signal or anything, and wrote the whole film inside of an RV. And it was a great experience to have with somebody special here. So.
Beautiful. I think that Adam is one of the hardest working, I want to make sure I get feedback, one of the hardest working directors there is, because people make 1 feature, and that's a lot for them. People make 2 features, that's a lot for them. Adam's made 9. So I just think I'm always phenomenally impressed by that, and I want to just make sure you get credit for that, my friend. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Jenny, a lot of actors have elaborate costuming here, and yours was no different. What challenge did that pose to you to not have your face seen? Could you even see the whole time? How did you act without being able to see?
Well, it was a little different because as an actress, you're used to, using your whole face, facial expressions. And this one, I pretty much had to, all of my acting had to be kind of from like nose down. But there was also some not issues, but it was a little bit harder too because they didn't want this part up to be shown. So in certain scenes, you're talking to someone and you feel like you kind of have to talk like this to make sure the hood stays down. And then the scene where we're all in the streets in downtown Buffalo, the wind picked up quite a bit. So, we're doing my walk and then whoop, the hood would come back. I'm like, okay, that doesn't work, have to do it again. So we finally ended up putting duct tape in my hair and the hood attached to the duct tape in my hair, which worked great for the scene, but was not so much fun trying to take it off later and not ripping my hair out. And then the other thing that was hard to get used to, I usually keep my nails pretty short, and I had those, big fake nails that needed to be put on before any scenes. Thankfully, Kristen knew how to do it because I was pretty much helpless, but then trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I eat? I have a bag of chips, and I'm trying to get, So that was kind of its own issue in a sense. But yeah, not being able to use my full face for acting, and my wrinkles show. I'm a very expressive person, so it was definitely hard to try to just be like, all right, I gotta get from here down and that's it.
And so you also had to climb on cliffs. You had to be pretty active in this costume. Was it difficult?
Yes, I mean, the scenes where you see the cave and all of that, I mean, we were in the middle of the woods. It was an amazing place to be. But yeah, there was definitely challenges. I had that long dress. I think at one point, you guys were like putting props and equipment and stuff. Weren't you guys basically like bringing them down the hill on like a rope or something?
I never want to remember that.
Yeah, and then, but the actors, I mean, I wasn't going down on the rope or the ladder, so we're taking a long way around, and it's like, okay, watch that tree branch, don't trip on that, don't snag the costume. But it worked out great, so I'm not complaining.
Excellent. And Will, your character, Obi, without the J, you're the comic relief in the film. Could you tell me, what is the big, what is the, oh, here, take this one. What is the big skill that Obi has?
Thanks, man.
Good to see you.
Why was he added to the film? Comic relief. Next question. I'm just kidding. With the whole monster trope too, and they have the werewolf, and you have the zombie and the alien. I think because Star, as his character wasn't in this film, it gave us, afford us an opportunity to have a new character, a new alien, and they already started to build this relationship with Alex Green's character from the original film. So I think it afforded us that to be able to continue to build a relationship between Alex and Obi, which was nice. And also you had Obi for his good looks, I would assume. I'm assuming he's a model on his alien planet. I mean, it's much better than whatever I got going on, so that is fantastic. But yeah, what he offers other than the comic relief, I mean, he's a very intelligent character, and I love playing him too because, like, I would say I was a comedic actor, but like the fact that he's not trying to be funny makes him funny, and I kind of like to play with that. That was kind of cool. But no, like I said, he's a very intelligent character. I would say he's has like a photographic memory and whatnot, so I think there's a lot of potential going forward to use that. Like you can study like different fight sequences, fight things and stuff, and you can do that. I mean, he killed Conquest, so he's definitely a badass. But yeah, no, and he better have a brain. His head's really big because it's really heavy to walk around in for 12 hours. So. Other than the intelligence, I think you could definitely see some fighting in the future, I would hope.
Awesome. And what
I would hope.
What kind of challenges did you experience acting in full face makeup the whole time? That must have been...
It was disgusting.
Hot sometimes.
It was fantastic. I couldn't eat my fruit snacks in the costume. I was very upset about it. No, especially like when we went to Little Rock too, it was like so humid, and I'm not good in the woods as is. I'm already panicking. So like the latex and the prosthetics, like I said, the head is very heavy. But even indoors, the arms that I would put on after I'd be done, I'd pull them off, and like sweat would literally like drop out. Like it was like puddles. That's disgusting. I know. But think about being there doing it. And then, yeah, I think, especially, and then talking in it too, we had to go back and do a lot of ADR, which is fantastic. It worked out perfectly, but it is definitely challenging to be in that, and then to be layered in a sweater vest and dress shirt and khakis. Like, I don't want to wear khakis. So it was a lot. It was a lot, but it was very fun to play. I mean, I would do it again for money. But no, I'm just kidding. But no, it was great. It was great. But I think all the characters have challenges. The prosthetics, Jenny, you can't even see like her face, and like you want to see her face. So like, yeah, no, it was great. And Norm's wearing like 12-inch heels and stuff. So like, no, it was a good experience, but isn't every acting experience challenging in some ways? So yeah. I like your glasses, bro. Yeah, no problem.
That was actually grosser than I thought, a little bit too.
Right. So gross.
So, Norm, you made a lot of the items that your character had. So you're a craftsman. So what was it like to, make your character and to, then act it? You had a big part in creating it.
Part of it was nice because as I designed the props, I could kind of make them specifically for me, so it made me even a little bit more comfortable. Like the mask that I wore, believe it or not, that's made out of an old road sign. I just pounded it out on an envelope and turned out nice, but as I was custom crafting it, it was the lightest, most comfortable thing you'd ever wear. You didn't even know you had it on, other than the fact that you couldn't see perfectly. Yeah. But the hammer, that was another story. That was, how am I going to build this thing? Adam came to me and said he wanted a hammer. So I actually, I had a shop full of all kinds of tools, and I sent him a picture of this blacksmith hammer that I had. He's like, that's cool, but not exactly what I was going for. So we talked, and I came up with making the wooden hammer. So I looked around my shop, and I'm like, okay, making a wooden hammer, how do we do that? All right, there's some firewood. So I just grabbed a piece of firewood, cut it down, spent hours kind of carving it out so I could get the metal rings on it. The one thing to remember about the hammer is it actually probably weighed about 11, 12 pounds. So it was, a little hard to act with. There was a few times where I had to use it in a manner going after another actor, and I had to use a lot of control so I didn't actually squish anybody.
Well, it actually broke my fight scene.
Yes. So we did find out that wood does not hold up as good as steel. When Jason and I had the little epic battle in the end there, we were choreographing for probably, about 45 minutes?
I don't remember. It was a while.
Yeah, it was a while, but as we were trying to figure it out and try to make it look as good as possible, we started to notice that the steel sword was actually taking chunks out of the hammer. The hammer had a ash handle, which if anybody doesn't know, that's what baseball bats are made out of. So it's actually very hard wood. There was chunks out of it, and from the head of the hammer getting hit so many times, it ended up, the head ended up falling off. I was never told to make it functional.
Thank you, you're a man of many talents. Sean, we didn't see you a whole lot in the film because you were wearing a cloak. But tell us about your switch from being the Reaper into Death, and how that can relate to your role as the Reaper in the future.
Well, as far as the future goes, that's really all in Adam's mind. But to go from like a being as a Grim Reaper and compare him to Death, because normally when people think of the Grim Reaper, they think immediately as Death himself. But in this case, obviously, he is just merely a minion of Death in this case. So for him to kind of go beyond the barriers of I would say, like life and death, in order to balance his life, he has to do what he has to do. It's just, like take out death, since he's taking out the whole world. He needs to end up humanity and all the Reapers around.
And is there something in the future?
Well, there is one thing in the future. We do get to go more in depth with the Grim Reaper with Adam's upcoming series, The Final Fracture. I will be returning to play Grim Reaper as well, and I'm excited for that.
Awesome, I think we're all excited to see it too. Very cool. And last but not least, Jason, John, and Bibi, my friend. You've worked with Adam in many different films, in various roles. Which is your favorite, and how does the role of War compare?
Oh, wow. My favorite. I would say my favorite role was probably playing Mark in Office. And that's going all the way back to, I think, 2012. My first lead in the feature. There's a lot of reasons why that was my favorite. From the movie, the character, everything behind the scenes, the after parties, the film family that was made during filming. It was actually a pretty amazing experience. How does Mark differ from War? Well, Mark was 24 years old, a former high school football player. He wore a varsity jacket and jeans, as opposed to wielding a sword and wearing hardly anything. Mark also did not have any supernatural powers. There were two totally different characters, but I had a lot of fun on the set of Ombus and portraying Mark, and I had a lot of fun on this too, and working with everyone. And, yeah.
Excellent. So, Adam, these are the top 6 fan questions I have here, and everyone wants to know, Adam, is there going to be a sequel?
Well, all of our stories take place in the same universe, so eventually there'll be another continuity story that will follow this, but you won't need that story, just like you don't need that story and everything else. Yeah, we've already shot another mini-series. It's all done, and it's going to be our next big thing that we're going to be pushing. It's going to be a streaming service, a streaming film, so you'll be able to get it exclusively on YouTube and Amazon. We'll be announcing that soon, very soon in fact. And it does reunite some of the characters that people have come to love in previous films that I won't share too much with. But I'm excited about that, and we are currently developing an Ombus 2. So that is our, I don't know if it's, I can't say that's our next film, but we are developing that right now.
So that'd be film number 10, because the next is a series, right?
Yeah, well, unless you count the series. I mean, the series is probably going to be like 45 minutes long, but they come out in chunks. So every week for 8 weeks, there'll be a mini chunk that comes out and tells a greater story, and there it is.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. So, Sean, did you incorporate any of your own humor into this character?
It was actually a mixture between me and Adam because we both kind of had the same, like, I would say, like, punny dad humor-ish esque to it. So we thought that it would give the Grim some character, because when you play a character with limited emotions, it's very tough because you don't want to sound too dull, but at the same time you don't want to put people to sleep. You want to do something that kind of grabs them and such. So with the voice and the little jokes and stuff that he does, it's kind of like a curveball. Like you don't expect to see it.
Awesome. And Jason, did you have to do anything in particular to prepare for the role of War? I mean, did you have to tone up a little bit, or is that just steady as you are?
I worked out quite a bit, actually. I would have preferred some better camera angles, but I did work out quite a bit. Besides that, you know what I did? I did some cardio, which I hardly ever do because I hate it.
Okay.
Because I knew that I would have some fight scenes, and I knew that a scene that's 30 seconds on film, you're actually going at it for like 45 minutes or an hour being filmed. And I didn't want War to look like a sissy and run out of breath. So I was on the exercise bike for a while and worked out and, just got into character in my mind, asking myself, what is War, who is War, and, just the whole process, the usual process.
Awesome. Well, you look great. It worked out wonderful.
I appreciate it.
Was it difficult to act without having, you're a very menacing character, was it difficult to do it without having lines?
Yeah, well, actually, I spent many hours practicing those lines. I don't know what you're referring to. Yeah, it was hard to try to portray some emotion and get into the scene and without being able to do facial expressions. And you're still doing them under the makeup, under the mask. And it was funny because until the film came out, I thought through the awesome makeup that Phil did with the skin mask that I'd be able to portray more than I did. So yeah, there was a lot of difficulty to it too, and I too had to tone up. I had to eat some extra steak and potatoes and everything. I took care of that for Jason. So
that was a pretty epic brawl you two. That was awesome. So, Jenny, did you enjoy playing more Shelley from Fang or Conquest in the Horrific Evil Monsters?
Ooh, that's a good question. I liked them both for different reasons. I feel like I may have enjoyed playing Shelley a little bit more, probably because I had use of my face and body. Let's be honest. And I liked Shelley because she was just such a bitch. And, you know, Conquest / Old K, I mean, you know, she was a bitch in her own way, but just being that, like, petty little, you know, digging into Chris, and, like, you know, that was a lot of fun, I have to say.
Awesome, and Will, we already talked about this. We already talked about the wardrobe.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about really the process of getting into it. Was this a challenge? I mean, you talked about being a little slimy and all that, but was it a challenge getting into before you took into your role?
Yeah, also I had to tone up to be an alien. I did the steak thing with him. But, no, actually it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It wasn't like, you know, Jim Carrey doing like torture training to be the Grinch or anything like that. But, it was more prosthetics, like, so just like getting it on and getting it comfortable and like powdering it up. It's like, it wasn't just me. I mean, I had the whole team. They would just do it for me, and I would just like drink lemonade while I did it. So, but no, it wasn't bad. I mean, the clothing wise, it was more so, you know, you got to get the neck and everything in there, and then the arms kind of slid on for you. But once it's on, you couldn't really do anything. So like eating and grabbing anything was kind of tough. But I don't know, it would take like a half hour altogether to get dressed and looped up, and sliding in things.
Ready for action.
Exactly, in a, you know, responsible way.
Awesome. Well, at this time, if there's any questions from the audience, I would have a question out there for the team here. David Anderson over here.
For Adam, you being a filmmaker and everything, you know, there are times on set that's like very memorable, something that you hold with the cast, with the crew. What will be your most memorable moment?
My most memorable moment, oh boy. I have never in my life canceled a shoot. And this film pushed me to actually cancel a shoot while we were on location, while everything was set up, in a ravine, probably an hour and a half to 2 hours from home. So that probably pushed me. I will tell you, you know, you got all these actors and they're very talented, but you're paying every single one of them to be on set, and at that point, all of our generators blew. And actually, no, that's not true, not all of them. Our main generator blew, so we had to, unfortunately, call it a day. We could have rerouted power, but we were spent.
No, they all blew. We had to get a generator from Norm.
Okay, so we had to actually get a generator from Norm. Now, a lot of people don't realize is a lot of us are close friends, or our friends in general, and we got together and just said, hey, let's make a movie together. A couple people, Sean, Jenny, I think definitely Will, they all stayed in our houses. So, you know, when we're shooting, we shot like mainly for a full straight week. Sean lived with me for a week. So did Will. Will lived with me as well. And Jenny, you were with the Zeroses. Oh, and Gregory was with Zeroses too. So we're trying to figure out ways to create a good story to tell everybody, and we're trying to find innovative ways to do it cheap. And I will never forget that, because there is behind the scenes footage of that may never see the light of day. and it's just me going, a lot of F, a lot of F, a lot of F. I don't know if I should. I don't know. I would definitely look different than I do now. I'll tell you that. Also melting, because it was like 90 degrees out too. So we were just, he's talking about being in the wardrobe, and Sean was in that like 3-layered, and you too. I mean, everybody was in a wardrobe except Jason down there, who was probably like, oh, this is nice. It's kind of cool outside. But yeah, that would be it. Thank you, David.
Speaking of the wardrobe, is your costume designer here? Because I think that we need a round of applause for your costume designer for this incredible.
All right. Well, I will take half the credit. The other credit will go to Kristen, who's sitting in front of us right here. So we wanted very vibrant colors. We wanted very vibrant colors because we wanted to have a comic book feel and tell this dramatic story in a different light, and that's what we got.
Also, there was a great score. Is the composer here?
The composer is out of California, and unfortunately they are not here, but He did a great job, and yes. And if you stayed till the post-credit, which obviously most of you have here, you can see we kind of went back in time. So we are developing another project that could be heading out west.
Excellent. Any other questions from the crowd here?
Somebody in the far back.
Adam, you're a very good-looking director. What's your morning grooming ritual like?
Who is that?
How much did you pay that person?
Well, I start with the facial around 6 in the morning, and no, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Andy.
Oh, you know.
Any other questions in the audience?
I have a question for you.
Oh, hey, man.
So, this was, I assume, probably your first time actually being in like a big club ad.
Well, yeah, on screen in my private life.
So, like, was it, how was the experience? Like, just like, I know you touched base on it before, but like when you first was told, okay, you put on a mask, you put on gloves, and everything like that, what were you thinking?
Adam, earmuffs. Awful. No, it's fine. Actually, I was surprised how comfortable the masks and prosthetics were once you get it on. Well,
when you like asked, like when you told you and you put a mask and gloves, like what was running through your head?
you're gonna cover this face up? No, I honestly love playing Obi. Honestly, I love the idea of not being funny and being funny. Like, yeah, no, it was really fun because I never had that experience before, and I'm really open to everything. So that'd be a fun thing to do, especially with all the Marvel and Star Wars and stuff, and all the prosthetics and things people use in Hollywood. So I really I did take to it. I thought when I saw it the first time, I was like, oh my god, I'm so stoked. This looks so cool. Until I got it on, I was like, oh shit. But like, no, it was really comfortable, to be honest. I mean, 12 hours later, the head definitely had some weight to it. But it was pretty comfortable, and all the sweat made it slick, so it wasn't too sticky, I guess. I don't know. It was okay. It was solid. I could do it. I wouldn't want to be out in the woods again in like 95-degree weather, or in a sweater vest. But other than that, no, it was good. No, it was a good experience overall. It really was. It really was. So, thank you, sir, for your question. I saw your thing before. What's that about?
We've got David Anderson here, a
That's
filmmaker
David
as well.
Anderson. Is anybody that you know in it? What? I'm in it? That's so crazy. That's crazy. Another round of applause, please. I'm just kidding.
And that's the beauty of the Buffalo film scene. A lot of people are friends and getting together and making a lot of amazing films. Any more questions in the audience here? Oh, in the back here?
What is your distribution plan?
Distribution plan?
When you go home tonight, you'll be able to see it on Tubi, Amazon, YouTube, and there's a couple other ones that I'm mistaken and I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, you could actually watch it probably right now if you really wanted to. But you'd rather been here, and we appreciate you. We got Chris, I think, and then there was a gentleman in the back that also had a question. Oh, I see that tie, man. That bow tie.
So with your love for revisiting things, I went back to the Warehouse twice in this movie. Has 388 actually acquired the Warehouse yet? Are you just going to buy that and keep that as a treasure that it is?
Well, I think they just left, but that house is amazing. We've shot, it is a continuity piece to all of our stories. We've shot like 3 films, I think, there. Not 388, but me as a director and all that, we've shot multiple films there to connect it. Before Michael passed, and I just want to say this briefly, talking about doing a reboot to Gore. Now, Gore's like a feature film that I did, like one of my first films. And we're in real talks to go back to it as the next project to do a Gore film, and the Samantha Romero character was part of that and all that, and unfortunately he passed, and we didn't get to finish it. But I'm just so happy Norm took over the role of Gore and at least gave him one more time with it, because Michael always talked to me about really loving the role of William Sanders and the whole Gore mythology, because he was like the Dr. Loomis type character, and it was just an amazing thing for him to experience. He actually played it like 5 or 6 times in various films that we've done. So this is not his first time playing this character, but it was really cool to kind of give him that werewolf moment that he wanted. So hopefully I answered your question. I'm not sure that house is for sale. It is pretty run down, unfortunately.
It's like $12.
Yeah, there was a gentleman in the back, I think. I'm not sure. I saw him. Right there we go.
Yeah, I just want to know how many locations did you have for all of the film?
How many for this film here?
Yeah.
How many locations did we have? I think we had 8, and I could be mistaken but try and coordinate a week's shoot to try to shoot 8 different locations. It's a pretty interesting adventure if you haven't done one yet.
That was Sean Patrick Green there, another Buffalo filmmaker.
Oh, it is Sean. How you doing, Sean?
Oh, hey, man.
Glad to see a lot of people here. Very cool.
Who
In the back there?
It's really directed towards cast, because Adam doesn't need to answer it. What would you say, and I didn't experience it being firsthand, what would you say your best memory on set was?
Norm's already ready.
Norm's good? Good. I would have to say that my favorite memory on set was the second day in the woods. The first day, not so much. I remember helping carry heavy objects up hills. That wasn't in my contract. But the second day out in the woods, we just got together. It was a long day, but we sat around and gave the cast some time to get to know each other, and then we had some just really epic scenes out of there. My favorite, which is the battle scene that Jason and I had, and as he mentioned, we spent a lot of time, probably 45 minutes for that 30 seconds you saw of it, but yeah, that would be my favorite, was the time we spent out in the middle of the woods.
45 minutes in 2 days.
All right, I have to agree. Then the second day, the woods was just really neat. I mean, even though there was obstacles, like literal obstacles, and obviously having to go back the next day because we had to stop, we didn't even start filming the night before. Like on a lot of sets, there's a lot of hurry up and wait, but at least it was where we were. I mean, it was hot, it was buggy, but it just really added to getting into character and getting into the scenes. I mean, like you said, being in a ravine, of course we're looking at the fossils and like, oh, this used to be water at one point. And then, just being there in the dark, working at night, it was, I don't know, I would have to agree, that was probably my favorite as well.
The scene they're talking about, it was beautiful, the rocks and everything. I grew up being a huge fan of fantasy movies since I was a little kid, and that was cool. But for me, it was probably the downtown scene where the 4 horsemen are first revealed, and I killed the big fella with the sword, and he falls to the ground. I think it was that, just because when I arrived on set, there was probably over 100 extras, or at least close to 100. You don't see them all on film. There was actually more than what you see. And I never thought I would be downtown Buffalo in front of City Hall, half naked with a sword and not get arrested. So for me personally, that was pretty memorable.
I'm always like that. It's like another Tuesday for me, man. Just down in City Hall. Definitely not the woods, man. It was awful. I'm not good. I mean, there's a video somewhere. I'm just running back and forth with like goddamn mountain lions. It's like snakes. Snakes. Yeah, that's it. I think one of the first scenes I did shoot though was at that pet food store, right? Yeah, and which is great. There's a lot of people there. It was really fun. It was just nice meeting people and like taking pictures. It was really like the first time really getting into it, and remembering all the clothes just laying out and picking it up, and then be like, I think everyone's naked. Like, I really was like, all right, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a good time. So yeah, that was my definitely that. Not the woods. Not the woods.
Yeah, with Jason, I gotta say the downtown scene because just that was always a fun part about when you're doing a film is it's filming day, you're ready to go on set, you're ready to meet everybody and see who's there and welcome you with open arms, and that's really the best part. And for us to do such a big scene like that, I thought that was really incredible. Very memorable.
Awesome. I mean, it seems like an amazing set that you had running, even with some tough times and some really good times. But it sounds like it was a lot of fun making it. Are there any other questions? Okay.
Was it tough to get the permits for a location for downtown Buffalo and for Rock City?
Was it tough? It could have, you can consider some of it tough. It's not so much tough, it's more daunting. A lot of people you have to really influence, and not influence in a negative way, but just kind of remind and remind and remind and remind and remind. And then even after you have a signed contract, you have to remind and remind and remind. So in that respect, it was hard. I've worked with the Film Commission in Buffalo before. They're good people, and I don't know, I guess they like me, so I keep trying with them, and they keep allowing me to do these awesome, epic shots and stuff. So, not really, but yes, at the same time.
Is that Will Smith?
I
Good
swear,
to see
I
you
was
too,
like,
my
no, that's
friend.
Will Smith out there.
Yeah. Any other questions? Do you have any closing thoughts, Adam?
I just want to say thank you, everybody. And if you enjoyed the film, please do us a favor, because nowadays everything is just social media, everything. Please go and rate the film on IMDb or on Amazon or any platform that you watch it on. If you like the video, if you comment on our page, just to kind of help build the hype, if you will. It's so important for us, not just us as a company, but as artists. If you don't promote yourself, I mean, where do we all go? We all benefit from it. So please give it a like, give it a share, tell us what you thought of it. Thank you very much for everybody coming out. And we love you all, and we will see you at the movies.
Thank you all very much. One more round of applause for this great cast. And for Adam Steigert and Filmmakers Studios.
Yeah, store.